And now, here's Johnny.
And Tony.
Made it to Tuesday. Welcome in. He remembered. Spears on Sports, presented by M&M Cartage. John Spears in his PGA hat. If you're watching on YouTube, and are they?
They are.
Hello on YouTube. I got my PGA hat. Scooter's got his PGA hat on.
Tony?
I'm being patient.
And Tony, it's 4th of July week, so he wears things with flags all week long. It's sort of irritating. But welcome to the program. Tuesday, July 1st, Bobby Bonilla Day.
Yes, it is. Greatest contract in sports history.
Whoever his agent is, brilliant. Brilliant. Hey, Bobby, could you defer your salary and we'll pay you? And the agent says, sure, for 8% interest. Okay, we'll do it. They were in with Madoff. They thought they were going to make a lot of money, did the Mets. They did not. And Bobby Bonilla collects another $1.193 million today.
Can I ask you all something?
No.
If Bobby's making 1.193 every July 1st,
Yep.
what is Shohei going to be making when he retires?
we were talking about that.
Talking about that.
He's going to be making $68 million a year for 10 years.
Yeah.
When he retires.
So his isn't deferred like down the road. Far.
It is deferred till 2035. Is that right, Tony?
I'm going to pull it up here. I was reading
2035, something like that.
But we won't be talking about Shohei Ohtani Day in like 2080.
You know what? We might. In 2080, no.
Because it'll be already all paid
It'll
out.
be over. Yeah. He'll be dead. What are we talking about?
Maybe so, yeah.
Shohei will be making $2 million annually during the 10-year length of his deal.
$2 million. What a deal, right?
From 2034 to 2043, he will receive $68 million per year. The parameters of the arrangement allow the Dodgers to. Gosh.
Well, they can. This is great.
And
till
how much money
2034.
does he have? How much money does he have already?
He's fine. I mean, he's got New Balance money. I'm sure he's got a ton of endorsements over in his home country. He's fine.
Dodgers are screwed, though, when they have to start
From
paying
2034 to 2043, they're going to have $68 million against the cap without Shohei Ohtani. Or maybe he's still hitting. Who knows? But that's 9 years away. It is crazy. But Bobby Bonilla got 10 more years after this, Scooter.
It is.
Does he really?
2035.
And like I said, they were paying him with interest. He's 62 years old.
When he's 72, he's getting his last payment. That's crazy. Now, I've watched all the Bernie Madoff stuff on Netflix and the De Niro movie where he played Madoff. And the Mets aren't the only ones that got taken in by this guy. Bernie Madoff was a scam artist, and he got a lot of people. He bankrupted old couples that gave him their retirement money to invest. He never invested it, obviously. It was a Ponzi scheme. He is the genesis of the term Ponzi scheme.
How can you live with yourself knowing that you're...
Well, he can live with himself in prison.
No, I know, but when you're doing it and just think...
every day you have to get up and say, I'm going to get caught today. I don't have any money to pay these people what they think they're entitled to.
Crooks are crooks, aren't they?
Crooks are crooks. Ask Dick Nixon. Crooks are crooks. I am not a crook. But Bobby Bonilla Day, happy July 1st, everybody. M&M Cartage Hotline's open, 502-384-1450, 384-1450 to join in on the conversation. Game Day Men's Health text line open as well, 502-414-1450. You can text the show at that number. Game Day Men's Health is redefining men's wellness. No shortcuts, just results. Testosterone, peptides, weight loss, and sexual performance therapy. Visit GameDayMen'sHealth.com, defining a new era in men's health. And hit me up on the text line, 502-414-1450. Shams Charania was busy yesterday. He took over for Woj when Woj went back to his alma mater to be GM at St. Bonaventure, but Shams was busy. First day of NBA free agency, and it was glorious. Now, there were no huge names. Giannis didn't get traded. LeBron opted into his $52.6 million one-year deal with the Lakers. He could still be traded It is very weird that his agent said LeBron, and I'm paraphrasing here, but he said LeBron wants to be somewhere where there's a possibility of winning a title. Well, is that the Lakers? They did virtually nothing in free agency yesterday other than lose Dorian Finney-Smith. They lost Dorian Finney-Smith, who signed with Houston. Houston did some stuff. Atlanta did some stuff. Even our Pistons did a few things. But the Lakers did nothing. They brought in nothing, and they need a big man. You got Luka, you got Austin Reeves, and you got the King.
You said what was going to happen yesterday.
I do. I think DeAndre Ayton is
Going to end up in L.A.
going to end up in L.A. Just because he's a big body. No other reason. Just because he's a big body. But if he doesn't, here's the question. Even if he does, is L.A. a factor? Are the Lakers a factor in the playoff run, in the championship conversation? Because you got OKC in the West and you got Houston in the West, and then that's just the start. You got Denver in the West. By the way, Denver got better yesterday. They dumped one of the guys who I thought was overrated. Michael Porter Jr. Thank you, Denver. If I'm a Denver fan today, I'm ecstatic because we got rid of that blob of nothing. Very athletic, but a blob of nothing. Brings nothing to the table, and they got Cam Johnson in return from Brooklyn. I like that a lot. And I think Joker's smiling today. Jamal Murray's smiling today. That's a great pickup. They brought back Bruce Brown, who was with them during their title run. Those are good pickups. So you start with OKC. You throw in a Houston team that's doing a lot of stuff. They had Clint Capella. They re-signed Clint Capella. And I think Dorian Finney-Smith's a great pickup.
The Lakers did pick up a player.
Who did the Lakers pick up? I can't wait to hear this.
I don't know.
LaRavia?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I didn't mention it.
You said they did nothing.
Jake LaRavia.
Yep.
Well, okay, they basically traded Dorian Finney-Smith for Jake LaRavia. Not a good trade, if you're asking me.
Okay, I'm just.
So the question remains: is LeBron, who is one of the two players in the NBA to have a no-trade clause, along with Bradley Beal, unbelievable, is LeBron going somewhere? Does he want to go somewhere for 1 year? And you hear, every time he was up for a free agency deal, who did you hear he was going to? The Knicks. Oh, LeBron to the Knicks. What a marriage made in heaven. Well, you know what? It might finally be a marriage made in heaven. He could join Karl Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson. That'd basically give him a big three.
Doesn't he have Luka with him right now?
He's got Luka, but what else he got?
Well, they're not
Austin
done,
Reeves?
They're not done yet.
Is Austin? Oh, the big three of Luka, LeBron, and DeAndre Ayton?
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying? I don't see it. I don't see
Two of the best players in
I
the
don't see
NBA.
him going anywhere, if you want to know the
He's
truth.
not going anywhere.
But the comment that his agent made makes it interesting. Because if I'm the Knicks, now, first of all, I don't have a coach. I know they're having a second interview with Mike Brown. Oh, that's very exciting. But if you're the Knicks and you're thinking, man, we were so close, and the East is wide open, keep that in mind. Tatum's hurt. Halliburton's hurt. Dame Lillard's hurt. Going to miss most of the year, if not all of the year next year, all three of those guys. Cleveland, okay, I like Cleveland. Cleveland lost Ty Jerome, speaking of turds. Cleveland loses Ty Jerome, who signed with Memphis, 3 years, $28 million, Tony. 3 years, $28 million for Ty Jerome. I never thought Ty Jerome would get that kind of deal.
Everybody's getting them.
But the Cavs are, right now, their DraftKings has them the favorites in the East. The East is wide open. And if the Knicks were to say, now, what would they have to give up to get LeBron James? That's another part of it. You got to keep Brunson, and you got to keep Cat. I guess everybody else is available if you want to pick up LeBron James. Do you want, hey, you guys want Josh Hart? We'll give you Josh Hart and 52 draft picks over the next 26 years. Who do the Knicks have to trade? Scooter, you got any trade bait for the Knicks?
I wouldn't want anything to do with LeBron if I'm the Knicks.
Well, nobody does.
So I'm not even entertaining.
This is. Did you want anything to do with Aaron Rodgers?
No.
No, that's what I'm saying.
By the way, did you see the SGA deal?
The SGA deal. No. Is this new?
Filthy.
Yeah,
He is
I'm looking at it right now.
richest annual salary for a player in NBA history. 4-year, $285.
$71.5 million a year, something like that.
$71.25 million a year.
Oh my God,
That's filthy.
Yeah, it says he's a richest.
I guess he earned it.
Annual salary.
When you win MVP, scoring title, and finals in the same year, I guess you've earned it. Nobody does that. He's only the fourth player to ever do it, and the other ones are named Michael, Kareem, and Shaq. So that's pretty good. Michael, by the way, did it 4 times, just for the record.
No big deal.
No big deal. But LeBron's the best ever, right? Yeah, whatever.
Some other great names on there: Tim Duncan, Shaq, Akeem, Magic, Moses Malone, Kareem,
4 years,
Willis.
285.
And I still go back to when
I love
he
it.
went to
I love it for
Kentucky.
him.
He was an afterthought.
He was the last recruit of that class for John Calipari. He kind of brought him in like, yeah, we'll bring him in, see what he can do. And by the end of the year, he was starting and best player on the team. So I got to go over. Look at this. I know here, YouTube. Look at this list of free agents that were signed.
Those are all free agents.
The NBA was crazy yesterday. I do want to get to baseball. The Reds got destroyed. Chase Burns. I still have faith. I have to think, and you know what? I was watching the Red Sox announcers last night, and they said Terry Francona is going to go watch the tape because the question is this kid tipping his pitches?
They talked about it on the Reds game.
Because
Cowboy was doing the game, and he said the same thing. He said when he pitched against the Yankees, they had no clue. And he said the Red Sox looked like they knew when a breaking ball was coming.
Yeah.
So, and he goes, I don't know if that happened or not, but he goes, it sure seems like they knew when it wasn't a fastball.
They sure made good contact.
Yep.
And he didn't get out of the first inning. But interesting game last night. My Rays lost, Scooter. I'm not blaming you, but
It wasn't just me.
kind of blaming you. I'm blaming myself. So we're going to start a new one today. We're all picking a team and betting a 3-team parlay.
All right.
Or I'm betting a 3-team parlay. Y'all can get in on it if you want to.
No, man.
Yeah, we're in.
Let me twist y'all's arm. The Reds back in action in Boston tonight. Brady Singer against Richard Fitz. Good old Richard Fitz. Good old Dick Fitz.
Yeah.
I might have to go with Reds tonight as my
You
pick.
do whatever you want, Scooter.
Yeah, you can.
And you know what? The odds don't matter today.
Hey, speaking of
Dodgers are minus 333 at home against the White Sox.
speaking of the name you just mentioned, have you all seen the name of the Mets pitcher? Best name in baseball, in my opinion.
Tenga?
Nope.
Go for it.
His name is Richard Lovelady, but he came out to the media last week and he said his nickname's always been Dickie, so he wants to be called Dickie Lovelady.
I think he was an Oakland Athletic back when they were in Oakland.
Great name.
Dickie Lovelady. Sounds like a porn name.
Yep, it does.
Not that I watch any of that stuff.
No, but you've heard about
I've heard about it. I watched the movie.
You see where
Boogie Nights.
Did you
I
see
watched
where
Boogie Nights.
D'Angelo Russell was in town running a camp?
And he signed a 2-year deal with Dallas yesterday.
Is that a good move for Dallas?
Well, it's a 2-year deal. The second year is his option, $13 million, and they're bringing him in to take Kyrie's place till Kyrie is healthy. Remember, Kyrie tore his Achilles.
If Kyrie gets healthy.
He tore his Achilles middle of the year, kind of middle late, but before the playoffs.
Yeah, people forget D'Angelo Russell is from Louisville.
Yeah.
It started out at Central High School.
2 years at Central? Or one? Might have been one.
That might have only been one. Then he went to prep school. He went to, I think he ended up Mount Verde, didn't he?
Oak Hill?
No, I think he played at Mount Verde.
But D'Angelo Russell signs with Dallas, 2 years, $13 million. I got a bunch of these. The Michael Porter Jr. trade is very intriguing to me. Now, I know I've made fun of him. I don't like him as a player. But Brooklyn also gets a 2032. I know that's 7 years away. Unrestricted first-round pick. So if Denver stinks by then, Brooklyn could theoretically get a really good lottery pick. You never know.
Do you think the Nets think he can be a superstar if they just use
Michael
him?
Porter Jr.? I hope not. I don't think so. I think he does one thing. He stands up there and tries to and does a funky-looking three-point jump shot that goes in a lot, admittedly.
He's 6'11".
Well, get inside, do some work on the boards.
I'm not saying, but do you think they're going to try to feature him and make him?
Who else they got?
Well, they got 72 draft choices ahead.
They almost have to feature him. But Cameron Johnson, I think, is really good. He was kind of lost in the shuffle at Denver because I mean at Brooklyn, because you didn't really see a lot of Brooklyn Nets games, believe it or not, even though they're in New York.
You didn't?
No.
I didn't see any ever.
I mean, it's not like they put them on. I mean, even Oklahoma City, first half of the year, wasn't on TNT very often. And the Nets are never on TNT.
They're never on.
The Knicks are on all the time. The Lakers are on all the time. We know the drill, right?
Clippers.
Knicks are on. Clippers, Lakers. Toward the end of the year, Rockets and Thunder got some love.
Spurs would be on because of Wemby.
Celtics are always on. Right. And even when Zion was hurt, the Pelicans were on a lot because their schedule came out before Zion got hurt. Yeah. But the Nets were never on. And I saw some Nets games, and Cameron Johnson, I think, is a marked improvement over Michael Porter Jr., in my opinion. So I think Denver did some good things here with this trade. All right, who else we want to talk about?
Brook Lopez.
How about my Celtics? All right, Brook Lopez is fine. Brook Lopez, who I can't even picture outside of a Milwaukee uniform.
Yeah.
I can't do it. He goes to the Clippers.
Isn't he 37 years old, it said here?
I don't know.
Maybe I'm looking at the wrong dude.
Yeah, that seems a little high. But Brook Lopez, 2 years, $18 million. Maybe he is 37. He only got a 2-year deal. 2 years, $18 million to the Clippers. I thought Atlanta got better yesterday. They get Luke Kennard for 1 year and $11 million. So they got a shooter to go along with Trae Young. And they got somebody else, and I must have missed it because I didn't write it down. Oh, there it is, Nickeil Alexander-Walker.
Yeah.
Who shined for Minnesota in the playoffs. He was really good playing against his cousin, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Did you know they were cousins, Tony? Because when I watched that series, they told me 612 times. Nickeil Alexander-Walker signs 4 years, $62 million with Atlanta. So they obviously think, what they saw in the playoffs along with the regular season was not an aberration. So Alexander Walker and a shooting Luke Kennard, I like what Atlanta's doing here. Our Detroit Pistons picked up Karis LeVert.
That's a good pick.
For 2 years and $29 million.
I like that pick.
I do too. He's a slasher. He's a scorer. He's a defender. I like Karis LeVert. I think that's a good one. All right, so here's what my Celtics did. They basically made a trade. Luke Cornett goes to San Antonio.
Thank God.
Hey, he's good.
No, he's
off
not.
the bench. He's going to back up Wemby. 4 years, $41 million. The Celtics get Luka Garza.
Hold on. Luke Cornett's getting
4 years, $41 million.
$10 million a year.
So, Scooter, you're the only one that thinks he sucks.
It's entirely too much money.
Luka Garza goes to Boston. Remember him?
Yeah. Wasn't he the player of the year?
2 years.
He was in Iowa?
2 years, $5.5 million. So the Celtics are saving $35 million, trading Luke for Luka, basically. Not that Luka, Luka Garza. All right, let's take a break. I still got a lot of these to go over. We got birthdays coming up. Still celebrating Bobby Bonilla Day. We'll talk about what happened in the majors last night, including a crazy event in Boston. Spears on Sports presented by M&M Cartage, Big X. Welcome back. Yeah! Spears on Sports presented by M&M Carnage. John, ZZ Top, Tony Burke, and Scooter Dingus on this Tuesday, rainy Tuesday.
I think it's done.
Going to be at Becco's at the pool tomorrow, Scoots. You're not going to make it, huh?
Scoot's teeing off. What time you teeing off, Scoot?
1:10.
1:10. So if you want to get over to Valley View and watch him hit off that first tee,
I'd love there to be a gallery to watch you tee off on the first tee.
Papa Scoots will be there. Brother Scoots will be there.
all right.
Gonna be a big time.
Wouldn't it be great to have the fairway lined and you have to tee off?
I don't know that would freak me out like it would used to be able to.
Oh, I'd hit a 9-iron high up into the air.
It'd be that one time you duck hook one right off the tee.
Yep.
I'm pretty confident off the tee. I wouldn't worry about the gallery off the tee.
Well, you don't have to worry about the gallery. They have to worry about you.
That's true.
Yeah.
Good point.
You hit them, it doesn't hurt you.
M&M Carnage hotline's open, 384-1450. If you'd like to join in on the conversation, give us a call, 384-1450. Game Day Men's Health text line open as well, 502-414-1450. Get your text into the show at that number. Bobby Bonilla Day again. Happy Bobby Bonilla Day. Almost $1.2 million again. He's been retired since the 90s, I think, right?
Oh, he's been retired.
The Mets are still paying him through 2035.
Talking about Scoot teeing
Doing
off.
Mets thing.
Talking about Scoot teeing off the tee box. Don't you love when you're watching a golf tournament and they hit one way right and they're up against something and all the fans are leaning out in front of them and they're going to get it over their head?
Now that I couldn't do.
And you got a caddy going, can y'all back up a little bit? And they back up an inch and a half.
You've seen these guys duff them, not very often, but
George
every
Spieth
once in a
hit
while.
somebody not too long ago.
Oh, man. I mean, can you imagine
John
one of
Rahm?
those guys hitting you?
John Rahm doinked off that guy's head in the U.S. Open.
Doinked off that guy's head.
Remember that?
Oh, there's a lot of people hit, but I mean when they're leaning out and they're hitting. I'm like,
Sounded like he hit a tree.
All right, before I get back to in the NBA, big trade in the NFL yesterday. We were talking about it as we went off the air yesterday. And I think Scoots was a little excited they were getting Jalen Ramsey.
Yep.
and according to Scoots a little later,
I didn't like it.
He didn't like it.
I don't like it.
Because Minka Fitzpatrick goes to Miami.
back home,
This is all about winning right now for the Steelers. That's what it's all about.
throwing everything in there.
They're all in, and they're going to have to sign T.J. Watt, or they don't have to sign him.
No, they have to.
He's
That's not an option.
He's got 1 year left on his contract. If they don't sign him, he's an unrestricted free agent at the end of the year. They have a couple of options. Sign him to a long-term deal, let him play out this 1 year and let him become a free agent, or trade him. Those are your options. Trade him to somebody that will pay him. He's going to get $40 to $45 million a year.
You got to pay him.
That's what he's going to get. But you're going to lose Aaron Rodgers after this year. He's basically said, I'm a 1 year, and I'm going to retire. If you're all in for just this 1 year, do you let him play out his contract without signing it?
Does he play?
That's a great question. But if he doesn't play, you're not going to pay him anyway. I heard a great trade proposal today, but it'll never happen because they're in the same division.
I know who you're going to
Trey Hendrickson.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Browns.
And that Trey Hendrickson and the unsigned first-round pick for the Bengals, both of them edge rushers. The unsigned pick, Stewart, he left camp because they wouldn't sign him. Trade both of those guys for T.J. Watt, and the Bengals give T.J. Watt a nice big contract. That would be great.
But why wouldn't they give it
It would be one of those trades where you think both teams win.
Yeah.
But they're not going to do it because they hate each other and they're in the same division.
I don't know that
still got to pay.
I don't know that I'd be down for that.
Why? Trey Hendrickson?
I love
in the
TJ.
prime of his career?
I love T.J. Watt.
And
so
a
much.
first-round pick in Stewart, who's going to be maybe the next T.J. Watt?
Yeah, but T.J. Watt's the established best defender in the league, whereas those guys you're just hoping.
Been injured, too.
I think Hendrickson had the most sacks in the league last year. I don't think it was T.J. Watt.
T.J. probably had the most pressures, if I had to guess.
So here's the other part of this deal that nobody's talking about. The Steelers also got the tight end Jonnu Smith, who had one of his best years last year.
He's arguably in his prime. But
do you have too many tight ends now?
Yeah. Fryermuth, Darnell Washington. Yeah, they were fine at tight end.
So Jalen Ramsey, who is, to be fair, loose cannon.
Yes.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
He can make some plays. Steelers had one of the worst defensive backfields in the league last year. 25th, I think they were ranked. And So they're trying. You're in a division with Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow and his receivers. You got to have a better back end defense.
Sanders.
You got to have a better back end defense. Shedeur?
Yeah.
Okay. You can add that if you'd like. I'm fine with that. But the Steelers are trying to upgrade their cornerback position. And
they have.
You get rid of a safety who's getting a little long in the tooth, let's be honest. And you're trying to get better defensively against the Bengals and the Ravens.
If the Browns are good, if the Steelers are good, Ramsey will be no problem.
But if you're the Steelers, you're bringing in Aaron Rodgers for 1 year. You bring in DK Metcalf, right?
Yeah.
Now you go get Ramsey, and Jonnu Smith. You are trying to win right now. And if you are signing T.J. Watt, you're going to have to give him a long-term deal. And I'm not sure the Steelers want to do that because they know they're losing Aaron Rodgers next year. Jalen Ramsey, he's a stopgap for 1 year, maybe two.
Well, Scoot said Will Howard will be.
I forgot about Will Howard.
I like Will
My
Howard.
fault, Scooter.
I'm telling you, I like Will Howard. This move, honestly, this offseason for the Steelers hasn't felt to me like we've got to win now. To me, it's felt more like Tomlin saving his job. Tomlin doing whatever he's got to do to try to save his job.
Mike Tomlin might be the head coach of the New York Giants next year.
You know he's lost 10 straight playoff games?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
It's not good.
But people in Pittsburgh still love him, don't they?
I love him, yeah. But when you see those numbers, that's alarming.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh historically doesn't fire coaches, but those other coaches didn't lose 10 playoff games in a row. Right?
Yep.
Bill Cowher and Chuck Noll didn't lose 10 playoff games in a row.
It.
Well, he won 4 Super Bowls.
I know.
But Tomlin's got Super Bowl ring, so
yeah, but time catches up to you.
it does. It does. And this roster catches up to you. And if Aaron Rodgers doesn't play like they hope he plays, and Mike Tomlin ends up with his first losing season as a head coach, I can see Pittsburgh saying, it's been fun, we appreciate everything, but we're going to move in another direction. Then the Giants, who are going to have to get rid of Brian Daboll, I'm shocked they haven't already, are going to, in my opinion, swoop in and pick up Mike Tomlin.
I lied. He's only lost 6 in a row. But still.
But he hasn't gotten out of the first round
since 2016.
10 years.
Yeah. How did the Aaron Rodgers project work in New York?
Well, weren't they also at a point where they had no other choice?
Yeah, I mean,
we got to sign Aaron Rodgers now. Or we're going to trade for Kirk Cousins.
Hope for your sake, Scoot, Aaron Rodgers is the old Aaron Rodgers, but he's old Aaron Rodgers right now.
We need the old Aaron.
Well, you need the healthy Aaron Rodgers. Yeah. That's what you need because he was not healthy. I don't care what you say last year with the Jets. He was still struggling with that Achilles, which
is he still going to be healthy now at his age?
Well, you hope. Tony,
you don't know
at his age, you get out of bed and something might pull.
That's what I'm going to say. And one thing I saw him do, and he did it at the end towards the Packers, he don't want to get hit. He'll throw that sucker really quick and get rid of it.
But what he's got in his favor is quarterbacks don't get hit anymore.
Yeah, but
I mean, his injury was non-contact.
I know, but they don't
get hit. Tom Brady played till he was 46.
Yeah, why? They're anomalies, though.
And he said, I can play because they can't hit me anymore. Well, they got to hit me in the stomach. They can't hit me above the shoulders, and they can't hit me below the waist.
They can throw a flag.
They can hit you, but they get in trouble, and you might die, but they get in trouble. they get a penalty.
Aaron went and did the ayahuasca trips. He'll be good.
Oh, okay.
He'll be good.
Okay.
He's married, too.
His mind's right.
You know what happens when you get married?
That's Justin Thomas.
You're done, man.
You play better.
Wait
a minute. That didn't work out.
Did you see what David Bakhtiari said about Rodgers?
I saw he said something, but I didn't see what it was.
So he got invited to Caleb Love's wedding. Right? It's Caleb, right? No. Jordan Love. So he went to Jordan Love's wedding, and he said at the end of it, at least one of my quarterbacks invited me to their wedding.
Ooh. Bakhtiari was a cool dude.
I got to say one thing, too, John. Not that I would do it any different because it didn't ruin my sports, but, it's taken some good guys down. The marriage thing.
I have no comment. Buzz says, if the O-line can keep Rodgers vertical, look out. Just see what other quarterbacks have done after a miserable season with the Jets. Oh, that's true. Look at Sam Darnold. Miserable season with the Jets. All pro with the Vikings.
Was he with the Jets or the Panthers before he went to the Vikings? I think he was with the Panthers.
I think the point is they've had good seasons after they leave the Jets. Look at Geno Smith. Leaves the Jets, goes to Seattle, has a couple good years, really.
What about Zach
Wilson?
Well, Zach Wilson's just chasing cougars around. That's all he does.
I don't know what that is.
That's his mom.
Oh, I'm sorry. All right. Back to the NBA. Some other signings from yesterday. Jordan Clarkson's going to be a Knick.
Yeah.
A little Utah buyout here. They worked out a buyout so he could go sign with whoever he wanted to. It's going to be the New York Knicks. Shooter.
Has he ever really been successful anywhere? The other teams he's played, the Lakers,
he was with Cleveland,
Jazz.
Cleveland, Utah.
I mean, he's always been a good player.
Good shooter.
Shooter.
You had a shooter in New York, so I'm good with that. What else I got here? Kevon Looney leaves Golden State.
That's going to be weird.
Well, yeah, it's kind of like Brook Lopez.
That's going to be weird.
What does he do?
He rebounds and makes layups, and he doesn't even shoot outside of the layup area. But he's better than Ben Simmons because at least he can make a layup.
I know it, but he's getting $8 million a year for the way he plays. Yeah. Isn't there a million guys that can do it?
2 years, $16 million. I think he's probably a pretty good locker room guy. I don't know whether that's worth $8 million a year, but he's a good teammate. I think.
Yeah,
he does. He does all the dirty work, setting screens, getting rebounds, all that stuff.
Yeah, 10 years in Golden State playing with Murray and Thompson,
but he stayed out of the way. Stayed out of the way. Started some games and did what he was supposed to do.
He got to be in the parades, didn't he?
And he's going to New Orleans, Tony. So maybe he gets a little more free reign in New Orleans than he did when Steph and Clay and Draymond were yelling, "Just get the ball and pass it to us."
He gets to hang out on Bourbon Street.
Well, that's true.
Years, yeah.
I like that. Jaren Jackson Jr. made some money yesterday.
Sure did.
5-year, $240 million max extension in Memphis for Jaren Jackson Jr.
That's not that far behind Shea.
It's not.
That's wild.
Think about it. Well, it is. 4 years, $280 is a lot more than 5 years, $240.
Can you take taxes out on that and tell me how much that is, Johnny?
Let me get my calculator on my phone here.
And what's they paying their agent? I mean, they're going to have nothing when they're done.
Carry the 4.
Goodness.
Oklahoma City's still favored to win it all, according to DraftKings this morning. Plus 250. That's crazy. I mean, you usually have the favorite 6 or 7 to 1. Second pick now is Houston at plus 750.
Too low odds to bet that.
I agree. They're like Oklahoma City 2 years ago.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I got to see it happen before I bet on them. And then Cleveland's the third choice. The Lakers, by the way, since we got to talk about the Lakers because they moved the needle, the Lakers dropped from 13 to 1 to 15 to 1. Now, if they get DeAndre Ayton, do they jump back up to 13 to 1?
Yeah. They need a center. Just somebody that, I don't know. They've had a lot of duds.
Yeah. I don't know. Lakers. I still believe, and we'll know in the next couple of weeks, LeBron, there's a chance he's dealt. But if he's not, we'll never hear anything about it. Even if he puts out feelers, we'll never hear anything about it because it won't get out. But I'll say this. If he wants to go somewhere else, then that's going to happen. It's completely in his court.
Oh, yeah. Always is.
He's not the GM of the Lakers anymore like he was a couple years ago because he's in the tail end of his basketball playing life. So he's not the GM anymore. It's not completely up to him, but he does have a no-trade clause. So he gets to pick and choose. If they say, we want to rebuild around Luka, we need to send you somewhere and get some draft capital or some good younger players, he's going to get to pick where he goes.
He does whatever he wants.
And he should.
I was about to say, shouldn't he after 23 years of service?
Yeah,
absolutely.
And he's still good. It's not like he's just hanging around.
All right, let's take a break. We're going to come back, talk a little baseball. Birthday's on the way as well here as Tony and I are going to the Bobby Bonilla Day Parade today down there.
Got my Mets hat.
up in Queens. Spears on Sports, presented by M&M Cartage. Big X. Welcome back. Spears on Sports, presented by M&M Carnage. John, Tony, Scooter, final segment on this Tuesday. Woo! Woo! M&M Carnage Outline is closed.
Shut it down. Shut it down.
Game Day Men's Health text line still open. You can text the show, 502-414-1450, 414-1450. Reds were off last night.
No.
They'll be in, they were off. They were off. They lost 13-6.
Their game was off.
The story of that game was Wilyer Abreu. You remember the other day, Tony? Scooter, it was his birthday?
Yeah.
And we do the home run on your birthday. He didn't quite make it then. But he did hit a home run yesterday inside the park, and then later he hit a grand slam. That is an interesting duo. He is the first to do it since Roger Maris in 1958.
Wow.
To have an inside the park homer and a separate grand slam in the same game.
Well, the odds of an inside the park home run are so low, and then adding a grand slam, if you really think about that, that's almost impossible.
It's the two hardest homers to get.
Yeah.
He's the sixth player in history to do it. Now, separately, it doesn't count guys that have hit inside the park grand slams. That doesn't count.
Yeah.
Inside the park homer and a separate grand slam. 1958, Roger Maris. 1939, Jim Tabor. You were there for that game, weren't you, Tony?
Yep.
1930, Charlie Gehringer. Everett Scott in 23, and Jocko Fields back in 1890.
Love Jocko.
Yeah, he was mostly a glove man, so I'm surprised he did that.
But he could run.
He could run.
You know who didn't hit a homer yesterday?
Trey Turner.
Trey Turner.
I was watching.
Hey, are we betting under the Rockies? Scooter, you got that?
did you ever find that?
Yeah, let me look.
Find that?
Look and see if I can find it.
We're going to start a new one today, and we're going to let the listener play along. Well, listen along, like you always do. We're each going to pick a team, and just to win. Doesn't matter who they're playing. Doesn't matter what the odds are. Just a team to win, and we're going to play a 3-team parlay.
All right, what do you think the Rockies are for?
I would say there's probably one or two more games.
I'm going to say 10.5.
I'm going to say 12.5.
It's actually, they're going back to the well at 9.5.
Wow.
And we're going under. Are we going to do under?
Man,
I don't know. I kind of like the over. They got some bad series.
No, we can't bet the over.
We can't.
What about the White Sox?
The
Are we going to trade?
White Sox are also 9.5.
Man, those are low.
Well, they open the season in L.A. against the Dodgers.
The Aths are 10.5.
I like the Aths. They got some talent.
Well, let's
Nick Kurtz.
but we're going under, right? So
I don't know. I hate pulling against the team. No, that's not true. Do it every day. All right, let's do birthdays real quick.
That's what I should do for the Cardinals.
I got a lot of birthdays today.
you got good girls.
I got a lot of scoot. What's the
Scootometer.
The scootometer.
All right, let me get the Google fingers ready.
Leah Seydoux. Leasey, and it should come up. Doux. French. She's been in a couple James Bond movies, so that you know that's
yeah,
good.
you know that's good.
We'll give her a 3-star.
3?
Yeah. Something about her.
She's 40 today.
Really? Okay.
40. Liv Tyler is 48 today.
I know her.
She was in Armageddon. She was in That Thing You Do. Great Tom Hanks movie.
3-star.
If you haven't seen it. Liv Tyler, Steven Tyler's daughter from Aerosmith. Only gets 3 stars.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I'm trying to get a 4 out of him. This, I don't know if this will do it or not. She's 58 today. Pamela Anderson.
Ooh.
This will be interesting. I want to see what.
Now, back in the day, at least 4.
and Tommy Lee.
Pam Anderson now is unranked. She doesn't get any.
Unranked. We had
No
one
star.
yesterday, Tony, and now he's going unranked.
Have you seen her lately?
It doesn't matter.
She's
But
rough.
you got to go back to the
You
day.
got to go back in the day.
Pam in her prime was easily a 4, if not a 5-star.
I was going to say she had to be a 4.5 at least back in the day.
Andre Brower, who was in Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Look at Andre.
One of those criminal law SVU shows as well. Passed away a couple years ago. He born on this date in 1962. Alan Ruck is 69 today. You know who Alan Ruck is?
Off the top of my head.
He was Cameron Fry in Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
This goofy guy.
He was Cameron. He was also in Speed. He was on the bus in Speed. Character actor. I think he was on one of your shows.
He's been in a
one
bunch
your
of stuff.
Billions or whatever your show was.
sorts of a succession.
Succession. Dan Aykroyd, 73 today. One of the original cast members of Saturday Night Live.
Blues Brothers.
Ghostbusters, Blues Brothers.
My Girl.
Yeah,
Trading
My Girl.
Places.
Dan Aykroyd, 73. Jamie Farr is 91 today, Tony.
Jamie Farr.
Klinger in the TV show Man.
Toledo Mud Hens.
Toledo Mud Hens hat. He always wore a dress, trying to get a Section 8 release from the Army.
Great.
Jamie Farr, 91.
He's from Toledo.
Brian George is 73 today. He played Babu Bhatt in Seinfeld. And he also played Raj's dad in Big Bang Theory. And his name is Brian George, which blows my mind.
Big Bang is very underrated, isn't it?
It is. Princess Diana was born on this date in 1961. Of course, passed away tragically in 97.
Did you see how much they paid for a dress yesterday for her?
No.
Over $500,000.
It's a nice dress, though.
Yeah.
1961, she was born on this day. Missy Elliott. Do you want to rate Missy Elliott, the rapper?
1.
She's 54 today.
1.2.
Here's one for him, Tony. Debbie Harry from Blondie, the rock group Blondie.
Now you got to go. You got to go back to the 70s and 80s
because she's 80 today.
Yeah, she ain't gonna look good today.
I'd give her a 3 back in the day.
Okay, what do you give her today?
1.
-1, maybe.
Nah, Pam Anderson's uglier than her.
Former designated hitter Nelson Cruz is 45 today.
What'd you score him, Scoot?
Former Colorado Rocky Charlie Blackmon, who retired last year, is 39 today. Colin Ray, Cubs pitcher, 35. Michael Wacha, Royals pitcher, is 34. Andrew Van Ginkel. Last I saw, he was with the Dolphins. Is he still with the Dolphins? I don't think he is.
With the Vikings?
He's 30.
He is with the Vikings. Yeah.
There you go, Tony, linebacker, 30 years old today.
Got the hair.
And one of the first great female basketball players, Nancy Lieberman, 67 today.
What do you score her, Scoot?
Nancy Lieberman.
She can play, I know that.
Oh, well, today we'll give her a 3.
She looks better today.
Yeah.
She's fixed up
for sure.
She coached.
Her and Ann Myers back in the day were the best basketball players.
Ann Myers was married to Don
Drysdale, former Dodger. All right, Major League yesterday, Philadelphia beat the Padres 4-0. Zach Wheeler, 8 innings, 10 strikeouts. Pittsburgh shut out the Cardinals. The Pirates have not lost since Dave Parker died. I'm just saying. I'm not telling you guys to make the Pirates your pick, but I'm just saying. Andrew Haney, 6 2/3 innings. He took a no-hitter into the 7th. Allowed 3 hits, 7 strikeouts. Spencer Horwitz, a double homer, 3 RBIs for the Buccos. Toronto beat the Yankees 5-4. Vlad Guerrero, 2-run single and a 4-run 6th to give them the lead for good. Boston over the Reds, 13-6. We already mentioned Wilyer Abreu, a grand slam and an inside-the-park homer separately. Chase Burns shelled in the first inning, gave up 7 runs, 5 earned, and he was out early. A's beat Tampa 6-4. Butler, 2-run triple in the 9th was the difference. Baltimore beat Texas 10-6 and 11. Both teams scored 3 in the 10th, including Garcia with a 3-run homer at the bottom for Texas, but 4 runs in the 11th for the Orioles. They win at 10-6. Seattle beat Kansas City 6-2. The big dumper, Cal Raleigh, hit his 33rd home run of the season. And Arizona snapped a 4-game losing streak, beat San Francisco 4-2 last night. Early game today, 3:07, Yankees at Toronto. It's Canada Day. So they're playing early today. That's a good matchup, Max Fried and Kevin Gausman. And Brady Singer will go for the Reds against Dick Fitz, who's 0-3 in Boston today. All right, you guys got a winner for me today?
Oh, I definitely got one.
Tony?
Texas Rangers.
Texas Rangers.
And I don't normally pick teams that I pull for.
And
where are you going, John?
They're playing Baltimore. Texas, I got them at -184. Jacob DeGrom on the bump.
That's why I'm going with them.
Do I get to go next?
Yeah. I want to see where you're at.
I'm going to take the Braves at home. They're -196, but I'm going to take them against the Angels. The guy with the curly long hair, the mullet there, Holmes, is pitching for the Braves, and I like him.
Come on, Holmes.
What's up, Holmes? He's pitching. Scoots?
All right. I'm going to go with the Mariners just because
so nobody's taking the Dodgers Minus 340 against the White Sox.
I thought he'd take the Reds.
Who are you going with?
I'm going with the Mariners just because they're facing Michael Lorenzen, who absolutely sucks. So, give me the Mariners.
And they're minus 139. So that's our 3-team parlay tonight. Texas,
Emerson
Atlanta,
Hancock for the
and
Mariners.
Seattle. Emerson?
Yep.
His name is Emerson?
Emerson Hancock.
I mean, he can't lose
He can't lose.
with a name like Emerson.
I can't believe none of us took the Dodgers at minus 340. I know it's not going to help the payout much.
Right.
But,
I thought for sure screwed you were going Cincinnati.
I really want to go Cincinnati because
he doesn't like Brady Singer.
I don't believe in Fitz, but yeah, I don't believe in Singer either.
If anybody else was pitching other than Wade Miley, because we have to mention his name once per show, and Singer, Scooter might take him.
Why didn't they bring Miley in last night? Let him put the fire early on.
Well, who put the fire out? It was Suter.
Nobody.
Suter came in.
Fire
He put it out for a few innings. The Reds cut it to 7-3, and I think it was 9-5 actually at one point before. And then Trevino pitched again. Did you see that? That's the second time in the last 2 weeks that
Jose,
the catcher Jose Trevino, has pitched for the Reds. And did he give up the grand slam?
that's a good question.
I think he did. So should it even count?
It counts, John.
I know it counts, but when you got a position player giving up the grand slam, it just doesn't seem right.
Trevino pitched 1/3 of an inning.
Yeah.
Gave up 1 walk and 1 K.
No runs?
Nope.
He got a
His
strikeout?
ERA is 0.00.
I saw the strikeout, and all the Red Sox were laughing at their teammate. It was great. Which, I will say this. It has to be like an 8-run game. It has to be the last inning. I get all that when you bring in a position player. That's the rules. They don't let them get around that. But the teams that are losing, they always seem to have fun when they're watching their own teammate who was a position player pitch. And if he strikes somebody out, it's glorious. Right? Now, if they start pounding him, then the team's like, yeah, okay, come on, just get it out here. But at least it alleviates any tension. You have, guys out there having fun. He's pitching, he's laughing, he knows he can't pitch. And then when you strike somebody out, it's almost like you won the game. You didn't. I understand that.
Phillips gave up.
But it's almost like you did. Is Matt on today?
He is. Yep.
Hoosier Report is up next. Thanks for listening. We'll be back at it tomorrow. Spears on Sports, presented by M&M Cartage. Big X.